All right. So, hey guys, what's happening? My name is Trevor with H&E Studios, and today we're sitting down with Randy Glenn from Extreme Exteriors. Randy, it's nice to have you. So, if you'll start just by telling me a little bit about yourself, maybe where you are in the community, and maybe a little bit about your business as well.
Great. Well, Trevor, thanks for having me today. I
Absolutely.
appreciate it. This is a great studio you guys have here. It's first class. Very
Thank you.
nicely done. Well, I'm going to start by saying when I talk about myself, it's a struggle. I don't like doing that. I really do not enjoy telling this story because I like to make everything about everybody else, right? You're supposed to be interested, not interesting. And so it's tough for me to be interesting and tell the story. So I will abbreviate it down and keep it at a third grade level.
Okay.
So to answer your questions, born and raised in Abilene, Texas. Love Abilene, Texas. I haven't been out of Abilene, Texas more than a week in my entire life.
Wow.
Went to high school here and then went to college here.
What college?
McMurray.
Okay.
Yeah, the other school in town. The other school in town.
There's a lot of McMurray people out there, so.
Yes, sir. No, went to McMurray. Went to Wiley and graduated from Wiley in 1998 and graduated from McMurray in 2002. But the story of Extreme Exteriors, our business, it starts back in 1991 when our Little League team was going to Six Flags. They were taking a trip to Six Flags, and our mom was taking everybody to Six Flags, and you needed $20 to go on the trip.
Okay.
And I knew my mom didn't have $20 to give me, so I looked across the street, and there was a yard that needed mowed, and I went and knocked on their door and asked them if I could mow their yard for $20. And the lady called her husband, and he said, yes, sure, go ahead. And the bumper sticker version is we still mow that yard today. They're still a client of ours today.
Wow.
Yes. So that's where it all started, was needing $20 to go to Six Flags and mowed the yard and continued mowing yards through high school and found a passion for it. We do work that matters. Even mowing yards matters. When somebody works all week at their profession and they come home on Friday afternoon and their yard is perfect for the weekend, they get to enjoy it. You've done work that matters. So that's where the company started, was $20 ticket.
And how old were you?
I was 12.
You were 12 years old?
12 years old.
Okay.
Yes.
And so from mowing that one yard, what came up from that? When you got back from the Little League tournament, did you go back and mow the yard again?
Yes. Yes, so that was my first customer. And then I started mowing yards. That's where the whole thing started. And whenever I got into when I turned 15 and I got a hardship license, I don't even think you can get hardship licenses anymore, but back then you could get a hardship license. And I had a hardship license and about an $800 vehicle, an $800 vehicle and a $75 lawnmower. And man, it was game on when I was mobile. Yeah. I could get to the nice neighborhoods, so I wasn't restricted to where I grew up. I found some nice neighborhoods, started mowing yards and fell in love with it. Really, really enjoyed it and did it through high school. And then when I graduated high school, all my buddies were going to Texas Tech, and I didn't have yards to mow in Lubbock, so stayed and went to McMurray to continue to mow in yards. And at McMurray, started putting in sprinkler systems.
Okay.
Started landscaping homes. So the housing boom of 2000 had picked up. Started putting in sprinklers and landscaping homes there. And when I graduated from McMurray in 2002, my father asked, he said, what are you going to do now that you got that fancy degree, kind of being a smart ass a little bit?
Yeah.
And I said, I guess I'm going to keep mowing yards till a real job comes along. And I really meant it. And thank God a real job never came along.
That's awesome. And so at what point, when you were in college, were you still just doing it on your own?
Yes. I started hiring. I got a couple of, back then I called them employees. They are definitely team members today. I'm not the person I was back then in every form of life. Especially leadership. I was not a leader back then at all. I couldn't spell leadership, and I most certainly was not a leader back then. So I called them employees, and I had 2 employees when I graduated from college, so there was 3 of us.
Okay. And at that time, you were doing irrigation systems, landscaping, and mowing lawns.
Yes, sir.
Were you guys just operating out of just your vehicle and like a trailer, or did you have an office at that time?
No, sir. No office. It was like you just described. At that point in time, a little nicer pickup, but the truck still had 200,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
So had a little nicer equipment at that point in time, nothing fancy at all, and literally ran it out of, I was living in a garage apartment, that would invoice out of the garage apartment, but it was very, very simple.
Okay.
Everything was very, very simple, yes. It was
and so at what point did you realize that real job wasn't going to come along, that was what you were going to continue to be doing.
So I graduated college in 2002 and continued to grow, and I could see a bigger future. And that's what everybody's looking for, is a bigger future, right? So you go to team members today at Extreme Exteriors. We fluctuate between what we call our go season and our growing season. We're in the growing season right now in the wintertime. Everybody else calls it the off season. I do not believe in an off season. This is when you grow. This is when you grow your team, you grow yourself, and you grow your company. So we're in the growing season right now. But during the growing season, we're down to around 120 team members. When we got our go season, which is spring and summer, we can be up to 160 all the way to 180 team members. So I had a vision of showing people a bigger future. Okay, so people only leave because they can't see a bigger future. I don't care if it is a job or it is a relationship. The only reason people leave jobs is because they can't see a bigger future where they are. So they leave for something else. Same thing with relationships. The reason why relationships end could be an isolated event, but that event happened because they could not see a bigger future with that person. So I wake up every day to show our team a bigger future.
And that you just developed that, I guess. You said you weren't a leader, when you were younger, but is that what you just started investing into at that time, were employees, and it just kind of it took off, or that's what you enjoyed doing? Or
well, the leadership journey started with my wife. We got married in 2005.
Okay.
And my wife's name's Micah, and one day I got home from working, and I got home whenever I got finished, usually pretty late, at dark, whatever time dark is, time of year. So summertime, it could be 9:15 whenever I'd get home. Wintertime, 6:30 or so. But it was about 7:30, I'd gotten home, and she goes, "I've got a movie that you're going to watch." And she said, "You're going to watch this because you're going to have to change." And I watched the movie, and the movie changed my life forever. It changed my mindset on everything. And people say you can't change overnight. That is false. You can. You can change in a nanosecond. It's deciding to change that takes time. If you're a smoker or a drinker and you want to stop smoking and stop drinking, you can do it like that in a split second. It's deciding to stop smoking and stop drinking that's so hard.
Yeah.
So I decided that night after watching that movie, I was going to change my attitude. And I was going to base my attitude on an attitude of gratitude, because I was not a grateful person. And I had employees, not team members. And I was always good with a hammer, so I thought everything was a nail. I'd just beat the shit out of it, whatever it was. And that's no way to run a team, to lead a team, or to lead through life.
And what movie was that?
It's called The Secret.
The Secret. Okay. Does it have anything to do with the book?
The book, Rhonda Byrne.
Okay.
Have you read it?
I have. My mom, she gifted that to me when I was, honestly, probably when I was like 19, out of Serenity House.
Did you enjoy it?
Absolutely.
So it changed my life. There's the gratitude chapter. Chapter 7 is my favorite.
Okay.
And Lee Brower is the gratitude guy.
Okay.
In the chapter. And so after I got connected with Lee, and I've been working with Lee for 20-something years now. He's my mentor and business coach.
Oh, wow.
But it all started with my wife not asking, making me watch that movie that night. And it changed my life forever. So I'm forever grateful for Micah seeing that and making me watch it.
And so that was 2005.
2005.
And so what changes started to take place after that?
So I started looking at people as humans, okay? I mean, as individuals, and somebody that is got their own vision, their own dreams, and their own tools, instead of seeing them as objects.
And that, I'm going to guess you started investing that into your team members.
Absolutely, 100%. Now, it didn't change overnight, just like anything. It takes time.
Yeah.
It takes a long time of investing. You can't see it at the end. That's why people quit. They don't see it in a week. They don't see it in a month. They don't see it in a year, so they quit doing it. All this stuff doesn't work. It truly does. It is amazing what you look back over 3 years and see what you can accomplish as a human. It's not very amazing when you look back over a day or even a week and go, we didn't accomplish much this week. But if you have little wins every day, little bitty wins, and you win every day, how can you not win in the big picture? It's impossible. So we should look for little wins every day. And then you have a good week, you have a good day, a good week, a good month, a good quarter, a good year. Then you look up and you go, oh my gosh, man, we had a hell of a decade. Look at what we've accomplished together.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the success is incremental. It snowballs for sure. I'm an avid believer in that too.
Yes,
So
sir.
as you started investing into your team, I guess that's whenever things really started to change.
Yes.
Not just the culture of the business, but probably, I mean, your outlook is what it sounded like, your team's outlook. And did that start to attract more team members and more business alike? And it just continued to grow from there?
It's a great question, Trevor. And yes, you're exactly right. So when you create a culture that people want to be a part of, you start attracting like-minded team members that it's truly, the word gets, oh, we're a family business. We're run like a family. But we really are at Extreme Exteriors. I'm sure there's many out there, but we truly are. We truly care about each other. And yes, we started investing in team members. We invest where people may think it's silly. Last week we had, and your mom probably told you about it, we had our Go Big Summit. We do it every year. We'll bring in guest speakers. We will invest, and the word's invest. We invest a lot of money in that day. And that day we bring the entire team together with guest speakers, with nice food, a great venue, all that stuff to spend a day to work on leadership. Now, we don't just do it one day a year. We do it every month. But once a year, we have a huge event like that. And when you have over 100 people in a room and not one person there is generating revenue for the company that day, and everybody there's getting paid, and you pay guest speakers and you do that, some people look at that and go, man, that is absolutely insane. I think it's insane not to do it.
Yeah.
Because you develop that attitude, go back to the word gratitude, an attitude of gratitude, and you want everybody to understand there's a bigger future for you out there.
Well, it sounds like you've definitely done that. I mean, I can speak from personal experience, with my mom being involved in the business. I think you're a wonderful leader for sure. I mean, and I don't get to enjoy that as much as even my mom gets to. I get what you give to her and the culture that you've created bleeds over, I think, into the families of your family. I don't know if you know that about yourself or the impact that you have on the people that work for you, but.
Well, thank you for saying that. You're very kind, and I'm a very flawed, imperfect leader. Thank you. You're overly kind on what you're saying. I wake up every day, and I want to win, and I have a vision of what we're going to accomplish. But I make mistakes every day, and some days big mistakes. And when you have a team that is for everybody, with the 3 U's: know you, like you, trust you. Okay, so the 3 U's are very important. We talk about Extreme Exteriors all the time. You got to know somebody before you can have a relationship or do business with them. Then you got to like them, okay? And then when you get that 3rd U and you trust them, know you, like you, trust them, man, it's easy. When you have the 3 U's, decisions happen fast. And when you have the 3 U's, you can say and do the wrong thing in front of your team, and they will know what you really meant, and they'll forgive you. If you don't have the 3 U's, you can say the right thing. You can say the most beautiful thing in the world, and they'll doubt you.
Yeah.
So it's very important when you're a flawed leader to have the 3 U's with your teams: know you, like you, trust you.
And I think it also probably helps that you talked about working long hours, when you still do that.
Yes,
You're
sir.
Still up before most of your team
Yes,
and go
sir.
to sleep after most of them. I know that about you.
Yes, no, I'm early riser. It was 4 a.m. riser.
Yeah.
And my wife, I love it. My wife gets up early too. She sent me literally on the drive over here, she sent me this text that said an hour before 8 a.m. is like 3 hours after 5 p.m. And I don't know where she heard that. I haven't talked to her yet. She just sent me that text when I was driving over. And I was thinking about it as I was getting out and coming in here and how true that is. An hour early in the morning is worth 3 hours
Absolutely.
in the evening.
I agree.
Because your body's energized, man. That's when all the creativity is going and you're ready to go. And the morning is such a beautiful thing to get things accomplished.
I agree. So, I mean, nowadays, you went from mowing one lawn that you're still mowing today. And when you're in college, you started doing irrigation. You got a small team together.
Sure.
Now you build $1 million installments in people's backyard. I mean,
sir.
I don't want to give too much away because I wanted to ask, but recently you guys did your biggest job, correct?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
And you built what I can see is a water park pretty much in somebody's backyard. So, I mean, from 0 to 100, I mean, I know it took some time. But where did the big change happen? I know, you were operating out of the garage apartment. Was it just incremental? Was it slowly? Was there a time where like when you got into pools, is that where things changed, or um, how did it accelerate so fast? Do you think it was and it sounds like it's the investment. It sounds like it's the investing into your team that really in 2005, that's what changed everything.
Yes, sir. Well, great question. And from the outside looking in, because I do the same thing when I look at other businesses, people don't see the first 20 years of Extreme Exteriors. In the early days, it was called Randy Glenn Landscaping, and the name change happened in 2007 to Extreme Exteriors.
Okay.
But it's the same company. This has been the same company since the beginning of time. We go by Extreme Exteriors now. But people, there's a handful. There's a handful still on our team today. There's 8 of us that are still together that were there in those early days, and it did not happen fast. It was slow. I'm talking like sloth, turtle slow. The growth was like pushing a chain uphill. It was not fast. There was a lot. It wasn't pretty. It was black eyes and bloody noses, and it's okay to make mistakes. Just make new ones.
Yeah.
We made a ton of mistakes, learned from them, and went on. So it didn't happen fast. But I believe, to answer your question, it happened so slow. But what really changed is there's power in team. And I would say the mark when things really started to change is when we developed layers of leadership. And it's so hard to do. You look at most small businesses, they have 5 to 7 team members. That's great. That's absolutely wonderful. And the owner leads everybody. We were there for years. There's nothing wrong with that. There's days I wake up and wish I was still there. I'd be lying if I didn't. Yeah. Where you go, oh man, it'd be great to have a team of 5 to lead. But the big transition is when you have layers of leadership. I call it the 5 dials. You can only lead 5 people properly. 5 people. I don't care who you are. So every 5 team members, you got to have a leader leading them. So when you start getting into over 100 team members, you got to develop a lot of leaders to lead those 5 people. And that's when you can scale. And that is when you get to the point, it doesn't happen overnight. 20 years later, you get an opportunity to build a water park. Yeah. Or you get an opportunity to build right now that was the biggest job we've ever done. And we're so grateful for that job. And the team killed it. Man, they did such a good job.
Yeah, I saw pictures and
videos.
They
killed it, man. Yeah. They did a fantastic job. But we have since sold a job bigger than that we're on. Wow. So once you've done something once, you can do it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why it took forever for somebody to break the 5-minute barrier in the mile. And then once it got done, as humans, it happens all the time now. Yeah. But for years, they're like, nobody can break the 5-minute barrier, a 5-minute mile. And once, I don't remember the guy, whoever the first guy that is, now it happens all the time. Yeah. So once you break through and you accomplish something, you can do it again. And absolutely. Do it bigger and better the next time.
Yeah, because now, I mean, you talk about having a team of 5 and you being the leader. Now you have retail managers. You have a department who solely does, 3D blueprinting for what your yard can look like. Yes, you don't even have to get it done. You can just call Extreme Exteriors and say, hey, I'd like you guys to come look at my backyard. Here's how I want it to look. And somebody will draft that imaging. I mean, you guys you do irrigation, you do, what all services do you provide?
Yes, sir. So from the foundation out, I'm glad you asked that, from the foundation out. So we go, when your house is built, foundation out, your irrigation, your landscape, your driveways, your fencing, your retainer walls, your swimming pools, your outdoor kitchens, cabanas, everything on the outside of your foundation. We do not build homes, but from foundation out, we do. That is what we do, but that's not why we do it. Our why is we create spaces for families and businesses to tell their story. And that is something that was pivotal. You kind of led me into this. That was a game changer when we discovered our why is a team. We create spaces for families and businesses to tell their story. That first yard I mentioned that I mowed, we built them a swimming pool in 2004 in that backyard. It was built for their daughter's had to be done before school was out. Her 8th grade graduation party was there. Since then, she's had a marriage in that backyard around that pool. So you don't think that pool's meaningful to that family? We create spaces for families to tell their story. We get to be a small part of that. It's very important to us. What we do is pools, landscape, outdoor living, going 3rd grade level. Yeah. Pools, landscape, outdoor living. But our why is we create spaces for families and businesses to tell their story.
That's amazing.
So it's very important to know your why.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like it. And I mean, to be impactful in all those ways, to impact, everything from just how the yard looks to how it feels, to be able to have friends and family over in an inviting space, and then for you guys to reap the benefits of that, not just financially and fiscally, but then to reap it even more so for knowing that you're impacting that person's life. that girl who had that pool built when she was, for her 8th grade graduation has been able to enjoy that for, generations now.
Yes.
So that's incredible. So I know too, you're from Abilene. This is your home. This is where you love. But you guys do business outside of Abilene. You have a branch in Aledo, and then one in Midland and one in Odessa, correct?
Just Midland.
Midland.
But we service Odessa out of the Midland office. Yes, sir. 3 locations: Abilene, Aledo, Texas, which services Fort Worth, and then Midland, which is the Permian Basin. The Permian Basin.
And then where does your reach end?
So we got Abilene's the big country, which you basically go from Abilene, hits Brownwood, San Angelo, even Wichita Falls out of Abilene, all kind of, you drew a circle there, Possum Kingdom Lake, Lake Brownwood, that area, and all the ranches around. That's the Abilene location. And then the Midland is the Permian Basin, all the way Odessa, Monahans to Andrews, the Permian Basin area out there.
Okay.
And then the Aledo location is what I call the Westerplex. We handle the west side of Fort Worth all the way out to Stephenville.
Okay. So you have a pretty broad reach then. Your guys travel, quite a ways to be able to service those communities.
Yes, sir.
Which is amazing. And then you can get everything done from a custom flower bed to a water park in your backyard.
Yes, sir.
If so be it.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's awesome.
Yes, sir.
Well, it sounds like, I think it's an incredible story and an incredible testimony to what you can do with a why. That's what it sounds like. You've made it 3rd grade level. I think that sounds like things changed for you at early on, thankfully, fairly early on, whenever you met Micah. Shout out to Micah.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's incredible. And so now it's all about going big, right?
Yes. So I'm going to give you a coin here. So this is our coin, and it's got our logo and says Go Big on it. And Go Big, BIG, stands for Beginning Gratitude. And all our team members carry these coins with them. And it's a ritual I do first thing in the morning, and I suggest everybody does it. First thing I do, as soon as I wake up, I walk over to my sink to brush my teeth right off the bat. Most people do that. And I grab this coin, and I say 3 things I'm grateful for first thing in the morning. And then I go through my routine in the morning, and when I take my shower, put it in my pocket. And if I don't touch it all day, when I empty my pocket at the end of the evening and I put it there next to my sink, I say 3 things I'm grateful for that happened to me that day. So at minimum, I've done 6 gratitudes. Get your mind in an attitude of gratitude. But I carry it in my pocket as a tool all day. And when I get frustrated or I want to get aggravated or blow my top at an event that's happened, I reach down and I rub on it and I say 3 things I'm grateful for. And whatever seemed to be very, very huge at that time, it puts me in perspective and calms down. Remember to handle it with an attitude of gratitude. So there's your Go Big coin, Trevor.
Thank you so much. I will start practicing that because I definitely need it at this time in my life. And at any time in your life, I don't think it's a bad time to ever have
So I'm glad you said, so, inspiration, and this is a John Maxwell quote, which he's absolutely wonderful. John Maxwell says, inspiration is like bathing. If you don't do it daily, you will start to stink. And I agree with that. And that's why the coin gets used every single day.
Well, I will definitely keep it on me, and I will start. And I'll have to start messaging you whenever whenever I have some things to be grateful for too.
Please do so. Yes,
well, I really appreciate you coming in, Randy, and I know you guys, they can find you, the community can find you at your business locations, also online, Facebook, and even you guys do like things like Traeger Days and events as well. So if you guys are out and about and you are wanting to come see what Extreme Exteriors is about, feel free to go in. You can talk to someone at the Abilene location or in Midland or in Aledo. I really highly suggest that you just come and check out what you guys are doing. I mean, even during the Halloween season, you guys have pumpkins.
Yes.
I mean, there's something for everybody there. And I have a Traeger as well. I don't have a pool in my backyard, not yet, at least. But I do.
You will.
Yeah. Yeah. I will at some point for sure. But yeah, come and check out what Randy and his team are doing. I think it's amazing. I can speak from testimony of my mom working for you that it's an amazing place. So, and I'm glad that I got to sit down and hear a little bit about your story.
Well, thank you for having me today. This has been fun.
Thank you, Randy. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.